40 41.
Sadie 9.
BBC Essex.
Now, as I hear, Ollie Murs is chatting to Sonia tomorrow morning. He, of course, came second in X Factor. I'm speaking to the winner of that X Factor final back in 2000 and it was 2009, of course. I'm speaking to X Factor winner Joe McElderry right now. He's about to start on his On the Road Again tour. And the first place on his list, well done, the Palace Theatre here in Southend. And he joins me now. Joe, that is brilliant. I absolutely love the Palace Theatre. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. And how are you? Back on the road?
Oh, yeah, finally, after a year of being stuck in the house, we are back on the road again. I'm so excited.
And this is a tour, of course, that was supposed to happen in 2020, postponed for obvious reasons. So how does it feel to be finally being able to set off? I mean, is it a bit nerve-wracking?
Yeah, I mean, I've just done a little run of kind of socially distanced concerts as the theatres have slowly back open. But this will be like the first kind of full-blown show back to normal, you know, with a full audience and obviously doing things how we normally do it. So it's strange. I mean, I've done, like I said, a couple of concerts, and it's weird because you've just gotten kind of used to not seeing so many people. So it's weird when you do the shows again, you see people in the venues and clapping and singing along. And I actually was at a festival attending as a spectator on Saturday, and it's just it's kind of a new normal again. It's readjusting back to what we felt was normal before everything that's just happened. So I can't wait. I'm really excited.
How long is the tour?
So we are going through, it starts the middle of September, which I think is the first night is Southend, and then we go all the way through until the 31st of October. So just over a month. It's going to be great. You know, it's just going to be a celebration, and kind of, you know, we all, I suppose, as artists and audience members, appreciate live music so much more now because we've missed it so much. And me as a performer, you know, I've missed having that connection with an audience, although I have done a lot of online stuff and online shows. It's brilliant to be back in the room with everyone, you know, and seeing people's faces and just feeling that love from an audience. It's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. It must be so lovely for you. Have you got a full band? What are you working with?
So I will have my piano player with me, and it will be track and light and everything like that. So we have had to kind of limit in terms of certain things with obviously restrictions and isolation things, and we weren't sure what the situation was going to be when the tour was planned. So we had to kind of make it so that it was possible, even if it was socially distanced or not, or all of those kind of things. So it will be different in that sense, but, you know, it's still going to have the same energy. I've got my amazing lighting designer putting together this kind of visual spectacle for everyone to enjoy. So we're making up for it in other ways, but and I'll be there, of course.
Of course. So, I can tell you that it went out on Twitter that we're chatting, and Twitter went mad, which is absolutely brilliant and stuff. Because as well, we're used to seeing you in things like Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I know that you were in Panto. I mean, yeah. What do you love doing best? I mean, do you love the concerts best, or do you love the sort of musical roles best? What do you prefer?
Do you know what? They're all different for very different reasons. Like, I think for me, doing my own concerts and obviously being up there, singing your own songs and having people sing your music is kind of my first love. But then more recently, you know, I've been at kind of a different avenue of my career is I've been doing musical theatre and panto and things like that. And there's nothing better than that feeling of being on stage with a huge ensemble of people behind you and all supporting each other. And you kind of feel like a force to be reckoned with a little bit. And if something goes wrong, I suppose, in them shows, there's more people to blame it on. Whereas if it goes wrong in my shows, it's all my fault.
How did you become a singer in the first place? Is it something that you've just always done?
Not really. I didn't really start singing probably until I was about 14 years old. So it was quite late in terms of most people have been, if most professional singers, they say that, you know, they've been singing since they were a child. I was more kind of into like drama and kind of, I used to kind of try and impersonate people off the telly and things like that, and more than music. Music kind of came a little bit later. So I started when I was about 14, and then when I left school, I started doing local charity gigs and things up until obviously auditioning for X Factor, and then the rest is history, as they say. But yeah, it was more of a confidence thing, though. I think I was always a huge lover of music and passionate about it, but I was terrified to stand up and sing in front of anyone until I was about 15, 16.
Really, wait. Do you know? I always really felt for you with the X Factor number. You know, the Christmas hit coming out. I thought you had a brilliant voice, and I thought it was a great song as well, The Climb. And then of course you were up against Rage Against the Machine, which were raging really against X Factor. So they took that number one spot. But then of course your record went to number one after that. But how? I've always wanted to ask, how did that feel? Because it wasn't your fault that these songs went to number one from the X Factor. I felt so much for you that Christmas.
It's funny, because I think it was made. It was a huge campaign at the time, because obviously the show was huge, and then obviously their campaign everything just kind of blew up with it all. And we were made aware of it around about like halfway through the live show. So it was before anybody had won, before it was anywhere near the final. And they said, oh, there's this campaign going on. If you get asked about it, this is what's going on. This is our kind of stance on it, blah, blah, blah. And then I never thought anything of it after that. And then it wasn't until I got into one of the TV studios, I think the week after I'd won, and it was all everybody wanted to talk about. And I kept thinking, what on earth is a chart midweek? What is this? What's going on? And I didn't realize how big of a thing it was until obviously we were seeing the numbers day by day of people buying my song, people buying their song. But to be honest with you, I was so happy to just have a song out. And I didn't really know the kind of how the industry worked at that point, that I think my naivety was a blessing in disguise. And you know what, like you said, we got to number one the next week, and I think we sold twice as many off the back of that campaign. So it worked well in the end.
And you're absolutely right, and it did. But at the time, because I'm a bit older than you watching it, I was sort of thinking, oh, but he's lovely and it's a great song, and oh, that's a shame. But hey, look at you, you're still out there and doing the job, and doing a brilliant job as well of that. And so I can say that, I don't know if you've done the Palace Theatre before, but it is such a lovely, intimate theatre. It's red and gold, and it's they're on top of you. You'll see their faces, and I'm sure you'll have a ball. And I know our Southend audiences will look after you. You've got a new single coming out as well. It's called I Am an Army. So tell me what this is about then, Joe.
Yeah, so this is out this Friday, the 20th of August. And this song is about, I think as most people in the industry will tell you, the music industry is a pretty tough place to battle on through.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always been blessed with a wonderful, wonderful fan base that have been so supportive. So this song is kind of, they are my army. They support me. I've got, very lucky to have a very supportive friends and family behind the scenes that have always helped me through my career. And so it's a kind of song to everybody that has loved and supported me throughout the last 12 years of my career. It's a kind of celebration song of no matter what goes on, if you've got a good network of people around you, you can always get through it all. So it's a very positive song.
Well, that's what we like. And I believe there's a video premiere happening tonight for it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, so we're doing an online virtual premiere tonight. Obviously, throughout the pandemic, we kind of took everything online. And the wonderful thing about that is we've managed to kind of, as we're coming out of it, still incorporate things with an online audience as well. So tonight they're getting an online show, and then we premiere the brand new video tonight before anybody else gets to see it. So if anybody does want to join that tonight, they can go to joemckeldryofficial.com/store, and they can join us at 7:30 tonight. So I'm really excited. I'm nervous for people to see it, but I'm excited.
Oh, that is brilliant. Joe McElderry, thank you so much for joining us and having a chat with us today. He's about to start his tour on the road again. He's starting off at the Palace Theatre in the Southend. And if you fancy watching a bit of a video, which is a premiering tonight, then do that, 7:30 tonight. Joe, thank you very much indeed. We're slightly late for the travel, but I'm pretty sure that Barry Lewis will understand. How